What's the reason your ads aren't converting? It's because you're not being convincing enough. So the natural next question is, how do you make your ads more convincing? The first thing that I like to recommend is inject some modern social proof. So in the past, people would think, okay, this is saying we have thousands of happy customers. That's the boomer way of doing it, is saying we have X amount of reviews. At this point, I think Gen Z and like a lot of folks, they don't even look at reviews as real numbers. They're probably going straight to Reddit and seeing what the streets are actually saying about your product.
The streets are
So
saying.
a lot of those previous forms of social proof, which are saying that this is beloved by X amount of people, those are just kind of nice to haves. They're not as essential as they used to be. But what I do think really moves the needle is this. When you address the objections you know are coming in your script. So there was a video that went pretty viral about these Lenovo headphones on TikTok, and I thought the guy did an excellent job of addressing objections that you would have about cheap headphones that you found on TikTok Shop in his video. It makes it feel like a two-sided conversation. You want to like understand how people are watching videos. This is a parasocial relationship, parasocial meaning they're watching you talk to them. And so this guy, he knows what the rebuttal is going to be when he's talking about cheap headphones. Instead of saying they're waterproof, he says, sometimes I wear them in the shower. Instead of saying these have long battery life, he says, I haven't charged them since I got them. All of a sudden, these real life scenarios are framing the benefits of the product, which are directly tied to the questions and objections that someone might have before they buy it.
100%.
So the goal is to make the customer feel like you know exactly what they're going to say in
For them.
response to your ad, and then say that with your script, and that'll make your ads more convincing.
I agree big time on the social proof part. And what I'll mention is, Bloom Nutrition.
Yeah.
So I was going through their ad library because I'm making like a good ads versus bad ads. Ironically, I filmed it this earlier this week, and they had just absolutely terrible social proof on their ads. Like they had a bunch of static ads, and it showed like the product, right? So it had the container open, and it showed like somebody scooping it or like a scoop, and it just goes over 100 million scoops sold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
What do you want me to do with that information?
Versus, are you talking about the greens? Because now they're doing energy drinks.
Yeah, I'm talking about the greens. It versus like it could have been, over a million solved gut bloating for over a million people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody else.
100 million happy poops.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Versus, okay, so somebody that does this actually really well, and again, I think their product tastes disgusting, but Athletic Greens,
yeah.
they'll spin up testimonial, static image testimonies that look beautiful, but then the testimonials are basically what you're saying, like something that the individual is thinking about or is the objection, and you say it for them. And so literally one of the ads is like, I've had X amount of amazing poops.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier, right?
Yeah.
And then they tailor the testimonial to the pain point or the objection. And then they scale this across. They basically take one static image and then they have 10 variations of it with 10 different pain points.
Yeah.
Versus Bloom Nutrition is like, I mean, if you look at some of their ads, it's like a Canva template with a product and that's it.
For sure. I think they're a brand that unlimited upside, because to your point, maybe the creative strategy behind a lot of their paid ads hasn't been modernized quite yet. I bet they're doing a lot of cleanup with a lot of their static image ads because they have such a robust influencer program. The founders actually live here in Austin.
Yeah.
They I met them at the C4 headquarters. They're great.
What's his name?
I think
Andrew?
the CEO is Greg, and then it's his wife, Mari, I think.
Okay,
She's got a really large Instagram following.
Then I'm thinking, but they're interconnected with like JT and Sammy and all that, right?
And great business. They're blowing up. They just launched an energy drink. But to your point, like, what's that next level up? On your creative strategy, like I'm sure there's more efficiency to be found if you start, incorporating that copywriting stuff and making these things more convincing. Because what's probably the first thing that people Google about Bloom Super Greens? Probably, does Bloom Super Greens work? And so what is the question? Like, what is this desired outcome of your product? I don't know if it's like a healthier gut or just like better immune system, whatever it is, better sleep. There's a million different things. Like, instead of saying, this will help you digest better, just be like, I haven't had bloating in 3 weeks. Armra Colostrum does this quite a bit in their ads. But so that's, modern social proof, it's not necessarily that you're saying used by X amount of people. It's more so saying, I understand your concerns with our product. Here's what here's what we do to solve those problems. Like, take that Reddit search and inject it into your copy in a way that is very believable.
A brand that does that really well is Hostage Tape. So they'll
Right.
actually take a lot of Reddit, just a lot of posts from Reddit, and turn them into ads, landing pages, and emails. So they did one about like how somebody fixed their snoring with mouth tape.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even about hostage tape, but then they took that and they turned it into ad creative. They turned it into a landing page, turned it into an entire experience / funnel.
Right.
Which is pretty.
I just think
cool.
generally stories as ads is beginning to take a lot of shape. Athletic Greens, Harry Dry went on David Perel the other day, and they were talking about all their favorite copywriting examples, and Athletic Greens was one of them. Yeah. And they had a ad that said, "You're going to need a smaller cabinet," which was super clever. It's phenomenal because it's saying like, we're going to consolidate all of your vitamins and all your pills, whatever, into this one thing. So really smart, allows someone to visualize what it's going to do. Here's another super simple way to drive more conversions on your ads. And this one is not used by a ton of people. So it's called price anchoring. Have you heard of price anchoring before? So we just did this for several different brands, and I hope that this workshop will help our listeners understand like how to really execute this, because when you put the price of a product against the price of something else that's commonly understood, then it's really easy for people to frame it and understand like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Because that's what you're ultimately trying to do, is get people to see an ad, see your product, understand what it does, and think this is a no-brainer. I need to buy this. So we just did it for C4. And we compared the price of a singular can, to a pack of gum. And so this thing converted like crazy, because all of a sudden people are seeing it. They're like, oh, like it's just the same as like picking up a piece of gum. I don't even think about that. Yeah, I'll get a price C4, or I'll get a can of C4. The thing is, obviously the cans are coming in a 12 pack. So this is a $24 purchase for somebody, but cost of a pack of gum, like our cans are literally the price of a piece of gum. Like, it allows people to think, oh, this is like a no-brainer.
It's like when people will show a supplement and then it's like 50 cents per scoop.
Exactly.
Right. And they use that price anchoring to help you realize, okay, sure, it's $40, but when you really break it down, it's going to last me 45 days and it's 50 cents every single day.
Yep.
I understand, like, that is easy to comprehend. And then now it feels like a good investment versus, do I need to spend $45?
Yeah. And for whatever reason, the example that just came to my mind there would be like, if Carnivore Snacks wanted to do this, like, their bag versus an actual ribeye, like a quality ribeye, they're a meat snack. And so, this or
you like meat snacks, huh?
Yeah, I guess I like
snacks.
I like meat snacks for sure. But so the whole point of price anchoring is you want the customer to think, I'd be dumb to not take advantage of this.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other niches that we've been producing content for that this has worked super, super well. One of them is a teeth whitening example. So for whitening strips, we price anchored against Zoom teeth whitening as a process that you get done at the dentist. And so that's around $500. And the way that you introduce this into your ads is say, I was talking to someone at the dentist and they mentioned that you don't actually need to get the Zoom teeth whitening for $500. You can just use these. Boom, whitening strip. And then you kind of like, now that you have someone's attention, it's how do you inject that social proof again? How do you address the questions that they're going to have? They're going to ask, how long does it take to see results? So your copy should reflect that and say, my teeth started getting whiter in like 6 days. Like that, this goes into the script. Does it cause sensitivity? It even doesn't make my teeth sensitive like other whitening strips because they don't use this ingredient. They use this. Like, you're selling without, pushing, without, you're just creating a two-way conversation with the person's brain that's watching your video. So
100%, it's basically like, because a lot of ads will do almost like bullet point. Yeah, what makes it different, where it's like doesn't use this
features.
Doesn't have this ingredient, so therefore it doesn't have the sensitivity
100%.
Or like it doesn't create the mouth sensitivity or gum sensitivity.
Yeah.
Whereas if you phrase it like you're saying in a completely different way, where it's like, XYZ, and yeah, it didn't even make my teeth sensitive. It just feels like a natural part of the script, a natural part of the video,
100%.
and part of like the full story versus trying to like highlight the thing.
Yeah, and this works great for prevention of future bad outcomes. So the other one that we did is stop holes in your teeth from forming. And the way you kind of do that one is like there's a study out there that says certain ingredients in big toothpaste may lead to holes in your teeth. So we say, as you know, this is the like you kind of flash the study first, like, are you at risk of getting holes in your teeth? And people can question the ethics of that. I don't know. But what you're pitching to the customer is saying, look, you could buy this product now, or you could face a much more expensive consequence down the road. And that is a super powerful way to get more people to buy, because ultimately they feel this pain of three things in this scenario. Number one, I don't want to go to the dentist at all. Number two, I don't want to have the pain of having holes in my teeth. And number three, I don't want to spend whatever it is on this procedure to get them fixed. Why wouldn't I just buy this right now and get this problem never to occur?
I'm with you on that. I think for context, you should let people know how much you guys spend on ads. Like, this isn't, you're not just
So
you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't just some random
for
shit.
Context, I'm referencing our top performers out of the last 460 ads we made in July. Spent a lot of money behind them. So I mean, we spent around over $1 million.
And what's your agency's name?
It's called Nibble. Yeah, Tasty Little Nibbles, whatever you want to call it. No, I mean, obviously, like, I want people to learn from those things. Like, those formats are working now, and it's why you see so many organic videos doing well as ads, because once you're hooking someone's attention, like, all of the platforms are trying to hide that sponsored tab as much as possible. So don't make it so fucking obvious that your ad is an ad when the platform's 100%. Trying to hide that it's sponsored.
Yeah.
And so your job should be, I'm going to hide too. Like, I want this to look as organic as possible. And those mediums are just continuing to perform way better.
People would always be like, oh, the best ads don't feel like ads. And the better line is the best ads feel like content.
Yes. Right.
And to be honest, that was Elon who said that. Because he was talking about how they were finally going to start running some ads and like testing them.
Yeah.
Ironically, they only spent $150,000 on ads, which is crazy. Like,
before he cut it, or
no, just like in a whole quarter, year, whatever, they only spent $150,000. But anyways, his whole thing was like, if we're gonna make ads, like, we just have to make what feels like content. We're not gonna be making the typical ads.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so I wanted to go over one more ad that we didn't produce, but I know is converting like crazy. And again, the whole point of this segment was, how do you make your ads more convincing? So you have to convince people that they would be dumb not to take advantage of this thing. And so this ad, the headline, I want people to steal this ad that converts like crazy. Here's the headline: how rich people avoid baggage claim. You got my attention. Are you talking about PJs? What are you talking about? The visual related to it is this piece of luggage trickling down the chute, and then it crashes into another piece of luggage. Boom. You are so relatable at that point. Everyone watching the video is like, I have felt this experience. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one that hasn't had a bad no one that's flown recently has not had a bad experience with baggage claim. And just
100%.
You're at the end of a flight, you're already agitated. So you're triggering this emotion, and then the curiosity comes from, well, how do rich people avoid baggage claim? Like, is there something that they know that I don't?
Yeah.
The next sequence is a product demo of this piece of luggage that collapses. It's got a bunch of different compartments that extends at first and then collapses down. And so it's a carry-on, and everyone wants to be rich. So they've built the curiosity of, what do the rich people do? Now that they have your attention, they demonstrate the dream outcome, which is all of your stuff that would fit in a checked bag fitting into a carry-on, and they visually demonstrate it. And third, it pitches this ideal life where you don't have to go to baggage claim. You can just buy this product and have those worries forever solved. So great ad. I think people could definitely learn.
What brand is that one?
It's called Solgard, SOLGARD.
I haven't seen it.
I don't think it's like I think they're just something that people need to understand. If you exist in a saturated market, then you have to outmarket your competitors. That is simply put. And a lot of people see a saturated market and they're scared of it. The actuality is you should see a saturated market and get excited, because if you outcompete people, which most people are not very good at marketing, then you'll win.
That's what we talked about in one of the last episodes, where it was like, if you can't win the awareness game, you got to win like the trust game. And in this case,
Yeah.
it's like, you just got to win kind of being the creative game.
Yeah.
Like if you're going against the big guys, chances are they're acting in such a traditional way where it should be easy for you to beat them.